It's springtime, which means it's spring cleaning. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about how to declutter your life. Now, this year I have started my garden over again and I'm doing vegetables. So I'm doing tomatoes, bell peppers, onions, potatoes, and I also started some lavender from seed this time. Okay, and so this got me in the mood to just think about renewal, just think about growth. And so I'm super excited to be talking to you guys today about how we're going to declutter your life and what does this mean for you. Okay. I feel like when it comes to spring, this is really when things start to bloom. Things are getting back fun. We're back outside. Okay, but we are just coming outside of the winter blues. And so it's time to not only shed a few pounds, but it's also time to shed some of those negative thoughts. So what does that look like? Now, of course, you're decluttering. This also means your closet. So I clean out my closet twice a year. And so every year after the spring, no, when we're getting into spring, I declutter all of my winter clothes that I did not wear that year, or I wore and did not like how it looked on me, and I donate those clothes. So that's the number one thing that I actually do. And I feel like it just starts getting you in the mood of like, okay, like what else can I clean? And that's when I start to get like some cleaning dopamine. And I also love to take this time to clean my space and do like an actual deep clean. Usually I'll also go on vacation during the spring or like some sort of getaway because I feel like I've been so cooped up for so many months till I need like a getaway. So I'll try to do that. During this declutter of your life, not only are we taking care of the physical, but we're also taking care of the mental and the emotional. And I have really been putting in some work in this area with just like releasing negative thoughts, releasing limiting beliefs, and just like all of that good stuff. And like, how do I do that to a place of making it a permanent lifestyle shift instead of just like something that I'm doing for a season? So I think that a lot of things that I really had to do was identify where I am having negative thoughts and what time of day I'm having negative thoughts. Now, some people say take a thought log, and I don't really have time to do that. Realistically, in my day, I don't have time to sit and like process what I'm thinking about or whatever, but I am starting to be more mindful of the thoughts that I am saying to myself. And even when I just start, like, for me, I recall a lot of things. Like, I have lots of like memory spurts. Like, you know how your camera roll will be like, oh, like this is a memory from 2 years ago. Well, I have that issue like sometimes during the day where I just start thinking about stuff from the past and it just like kind of doesn't make me feel the best. And so I'm taking mental track of those moments, and I am really trying to address like, why do I still keep thinking about those moments and how can I move forward from those moments? So just identifying a lot of unnecessary baggage is what that kind of thought process looks like for me. And why am I harboring those things? Taking the time to pray against those things and using scripture and using the word to like combat my negative thoughts in that moment, and just saying, okay, God, I'm thinking of this moment, and just being very detailed with him about it and just saying, I'm thinking about this. I'm really not sure why. I want to lay it at your feet. And I really want to release this. I feel like I'm going to pick it back up after this prayer, but I am trying to be diligent with leaving my burdens at your feet. And so just identifying ways, like identifying your clutter in your mental space and in your emotional space, and then making your own techniques to deal with those things. For other people, it may be journaling. For some, it may be meditation. For me, I like to take a bath and pray. Because I find that when I'm relaxed and in a setting where I can just be alone with my thoughts is the best time for me to really take all of my concerns to the Lord. And so that's what I prefer to do. Another thing that I have found with my limiting beliefs is that I feel like I'm always trying to justify my thought process. Like, for instance, I'm trying to give like a good example without telling you all my business, but I can't, because the things that I'm thinking about are kind of heavier things. Okay, so At one point in time in my life, when I was thinking about selling higher end homes in Nashville, and I guess not higher end, but like more of your mid tier, like your $600,000, $700,000 homes in Nashville, I felt like I couldn't do that. But then I realized that the people that are wanting me to sell their homes have no questions about my abilities because I do know what I'm talking about. Like, I have done my continuing education, I take additional courses, I have gotten certified in different things in real estate, and I didn't understand why I still had imposter syndrome. And I also felt like I reinforced my imposter syndrome by limiting my ceiling, I guess. And so to remove that, I did remind myself, like, no, Kasey, like, you know what you're talking about. You are an expert in this area. You have done the work. You know what you're doing. You are from Nashville, first and foremost. And so you've seen the growth. You know how this goes. Like, you have attended community meetings. You've attended city council meetings. You know what's going on in the city, right? So why are you acting like you don't? And you know what this growth and development means for a particular community, right? And so I also just had to give myself a lot of compassion and a lot of grace to not feel like I'm beating myself up, because then all I did was just perpetuate that cycle, like, oh, like, you're so stupid for beating yourself up over something that you like don't even believe about yourself, but you're believing it. It was just like a lot happening. So yeah, I gave myself a lot of grace in that area. And I think it's just important to practice patience. Like, yes, I say that I want to do X thing. I want to run 7 miles by the end of March. Am I going to make it there? Absolutely not. Okay. But I'm giving myself grace and patience to try again in the next quarter, because just because I don't accomplish it by the date that I set, the arbitrary date that I set, doesn't mean that I'm not going to come back and complete it later. Also, during your declutter, if this is for you, this is not for me, because I feel like I have already canceled out a lot of people. Oh my gosh. I've already gotten rid of a lot of people in my life already, till I really don't need to declutter my friendships or declutter my relationships. I think that I'm solid in who's my friend and who's for me, and not the purpose of the friendship, but the purpose of the friendship. I know who I can go to for truth. I know who I need to go to for shade and tea. And I know who I need to go to for spiritual guidance. And I have these friends that I don't need to declutter. Okay. But if that is your thing, please do so accordingly and govern yourself as need be with decluttering your life and the relationships that you have. Okay. So I want to just also wrap this up by talking about the fresh start, right? Like, we've talked about plants. We've talked about, it's blooming, it's spring. We love, a good clean moment for all my OCD people. But what does it look like to actually have a fresh start? So for me, it's creating new spaces, new opportunities. That's why I enjoy going away and going on some kind of 3-day trip, because it allows me to reflect. It allows me to gain new perspective. It allows me to take a step back and just kind of like re-ground myself before coming back, because I feel like I've been running myself ragged. And so that's just what I enjoy doing. I enjoy traveling. So that's that. I also take a moment to find a new hobby that I am enjoying. Like, right now, it's planting. Last quarter, it was gym. Like, I was in the gym for real. And so now it's just like, oh my gosh, like, I can plant my stuff. It's my new hobby. It's my seasonal hobby. It's a way to refresh yourself without refreshing yourself. It's a hobby that I do every single year. And it's just like something new, it's something new, it's something fresh, but I know how to do it, you know what I mean? And so I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed because I don't know what I'm doing. And it just makes me feel good. Also, during this springtime, it's time to think about your second quarter goals. And, when I come back from my trip, like, I know that I will be able to sit down and think more about what does life look like in the next 3 months. and hopefully have some experience with God. To wrap all this good stuff up, I really hope that this is empowering for you to declutter your life and take the necessary steps you need to make the life that you want to live, because we only have one of them, right? And so we want it to be fun, and we want it to be whatever you want it to be. Long story short. So don't limit yourself on what you think you should be doing. Don't limit yourself on what other people say that you should be doing. And if people are imposing their beliefs and their fears on you, then you may need to tweak the relationship. I'm not saying that you need to let them go altogether, but how valuable is this person's opinion? If you guys have any like declutter tips that you guys would like to leave in the comments, please feel free to do so. Also, if you have not subscribed yet, hello, see you in the next video. Bye guys.